Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to today's upload. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to today's upload, shall we? All right, guys, so today's first little thing that I want to share, I am hooking up and interviewing Brad tonight. That upload will be out for Saturday morning. He's going to share with us his first encounter he ever had, which was a Bigfoot encounter. And in typical Brad fashion, it is pretty intense. I laugh at that because it's kind of humorous knowing who he is, you know. And he's going to share with us the other Bigfoot experience that he had right in between the one where he was out in the woods just walking around just recently, and the prior one to around this time last year. There was a really not a big encounter. It wasn't really big. It was more or less what the government did to him and what they said to him. So that'll be an interesting upload. I'm looking forward to that. Today's upload, I'm going to share a couple of experiences. I got some video that I went through earlier today, and I want you guys to take a second look at it. But also what I want to do is I want to go into the map, and I want you guys to see firsthand some things that really kind of baffled me today. I got thinking about some of this stuff, and it was just real strange how everything worked out a couple of years ago. And you'll see what I mean. And it all has a lot to do with Victor coming into the channel. And around that time, the crazy attacks, the animal attacks, minus Christopher Whiteley and the woman out in Oklahoma during that period of time, but all in that section of the United States that I talked about yesterday in yesterday's upload, that Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, North Carolina, all have this really kind of dark feeling to them. And I really think that the military and the government took advantage of that, put their breeding program, which I'm about 90% sure that that breeding program camp or encampment is under Camp Perry, which, if you don't know what Camp Perry is, it is a elite training area where CIA is trained. And if you were here when Victor first showed up, was it like 3-4 years ago? Wow, 5 years ago. 4 years ago, you would realize what I'm saying is kind of crazy. Now, Camp Perry sits right in the Chesapeake region of Virginia. I'll show you, and then I'll show you the map and where these attacks and just strangeness happened. It all falls into that area. And crazy enough, Victor came into the channel's life during that period of time, was sharing experiences with us during that period of time. It may be coincidence, but I do not believe in coincidence. And in this one sector of land, all of these crazy attacks and disappearances occurred. So let's check that out really quick. I got a little bit more information out of Letcher County, Kentucky as well. And let's do this. Okay, so when Victor first reached out, he said that he worked for a alphabet agency, the CIA, had a breeding program in Virginia somewhere underground. Okay. During that period of time, Brenda Hamilton had been attacked in Pantego, North Carolina. Corey Godsey was attacked in Knott County, Kentucky. Multiple attacks in Tennessee. Amber Miller, Tony Aarons, the two men that were found in a cave area or in two separate caves, same area, years apart. And then a young woman who was walking her dog. People had seen a Dogman come out of the woods. It looked like a gigantic wolf, people stated, and attacked her. Her dog was shot by the police, and the people that were on the scene said that her dog did nothing. But because they needed a scapegoat, once again, the local, state, and federal, they always need a scapegoat. So I was thinking about how everything just kind of matched up. Victor comes on the show. Victor starts sharing information with us. And all of a sudden, around that time, all these strange attacks started happening. And I'm not saying it was because of him coming on the show. I'm just saying it was really weird. And I started to think about the locations. So right here, this is Pantego, North Carolina. That's where Brenda Hamilton was attacked, okay? Now, you go up here, and right in this area here is Camp Perry. Camp Perry sits right in here. Right where West Point sits and all of that. Newport sits in here. Now, if you are not familiar, right here, if you are not familiar with Camp Perry, so West Point's right here, and then you've got Camp Perry is right down here. Now, the farm, CIA. That is where they train covert CIA agents. This is where Navy Seabees were, the birth of the Navy Seabees were here in 1942 in this region. So look at, this is an unsuspecting location. You know, when Victor first came, I was like, you know, it's got to be out here somewhere, closer to Tazwell, maybe in Richmond, maybe by Roanoke, who knows? But the more I thought about it and the more I talked with different people, the more I started to really believe that it was at Camp Perry. So you've got this area, Pantego, Brenda Hamilton, and then you've got Camp Perry, which is where the breeding program is. I will say it's 99.9% positive. All right, and then you've got West Virginia, Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee. These are the hot spots, right? Well, if you look, here's the area of, here is, and you come down here and you shoot all the way over into Tennessee. You go up into Kentucky, and you've got this kind of just broad region here of hot spots. Knott County, Kentucky, Mercer, West Virginia, Tazwell, Buchanan, Tennessee, where Tony Aarons, Amber Miller. It's all right in this area. So you shoot across, you go into here, all these attacks along this border. Knott County, Kentucky is right here. Letcher, where the woman was just attacked savagely and killed, is right here. Right here is where Cott County, Tennessee, and then you just come up right in here. It's like a huge hotspot. A 4-5 state hotspot. And then you had all of these attacks that occurred in that area. Like right here, Cott County, Tennessee. Knott County, Kentucky is right here, where Hazard is. So let's get rid of that. Burt right there. Look at that line. Then you've got Mercer, West Virginia, which would be over in here. Pocahontas is over here, Virginia. These are all hot spots where all these attacks and all of these disappearances have occurred. You cannot tell me that there is no connection to Camp Perry being right here and all of these deaths and strange goings on happen right here. The majority of them within a 3 to 4 year time. Now, just recently, in June, a woman was savagely attacked, torn apart in Doty Creek, Letcher County, Kentucky. Right here, these are actually the roads. So right here is where she was attacked and killed. And right here is where Corey Godsey was attacked and killed. 33 minutes by car, 34 minutes by car, all right? A human could walk instead of taking that road. They could actually walk through. But we're not talking about humans. We're talking about dogmen. We're talking about creatures that roam these woods. If you get a good look at these woods, this is where Corey Godsey was attacked right here. There is nothing but mountains and more mountains and just land to run. Years apart, but there is some sort of dogman pack, maybe, small pack, running wild through here. There's a reason why when Corey Godsey was attacked, that Department of Homeland Security came to Emelina, Kentucky. And thinking about it more, there's a reason why the FBI came to where Tom Mezek disappeared in the Adirondacks where I live. That's probably a deeper rabbit hole, but you can see there's a obvious connection in space, time, travel, whatever, not space, time, travel, but space and time and travel. It's not a hard connection to make. And then that just brings me back to the map. Right here is where the farm, Brenda Hamilton, and then you just go through Tennessee, Knott County, Kentucky, Mercer, West Virginia, Tazwell, Buchanan, Smyth County, however you say it. These were all hotspots where all those attacks occurred. And once again, I'm not saying the connection is Victor and Victor coming on the show. What I'm saying is it was strange that Victor shared the information of there being a deep underground military base where these creatures were bred and trained. And then, ironically enough, it took me 4 years to figure out, hey, there's not a very large radius of, miles between all of these attacks and all of these deaths. I mean, there is if you're driving it, and you really sit down and think about it, but in all reality, it's not. It's really not. It's this circle right here that is a hotspot, a 5-state Appalachian hotspot. And it all stems to right here. The farm. There it is. Powell Lake. Connection? I think so. So if you're not familiar with the recent attack in Letcher County, which once again is a 30-minute drive from where Corey Godsey was attacked back in 2020, just recently in June, there was a woman who was savagely attacked. And once again, the government, when I say government in these terms, I mean local, maybe county, state, and federal. But who is controlling the narrative on this one? I do believe it's county and state. Doty Creek woman is dead following what is believed to be a dog attack. The latest attack occurred on Saturday, back in June, in Letcher County in Jeremiah. Trina Elizabeth Sandlin was renting a home on Doty Creek, and she had started down a path to get paint from the house that her landlord owned. She apparently never arrived. The state police had been called at 12:58 in regards to her body being found down in a ditch. When the medical examiner, she was sent to Frankfurt for an autopsy. The same medical examiner that did Corey Godsey's autopsy performed this one. His exact words were, "These wounds do not look like a," how did he put it? Not like a coyote, but not like a household dog either, but canine. I don't believe there are wolves in that area. Shortly thereafter, a subscriber that lives in the area, and it's crazy that the majority, and I'm starting to realize that a lot of you guys live in these hotspots, and that's why you guys are so driven to find out more knowledge. This gentleman lives off of Rock House Creek Road, and apparently when he was younger, like 30 years ago, him and his brother had been riding their bike, and this is about a 5-minute walk to where this woman was attacked, so a 2-minute drive. He had been riding his bike with his younger brother in the area, and so 30 years ago, 80s, 90s, and they had heard running through the woods, paralleling them and keeping pace with them. And it was about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They were coming back from a friend's house, going home, and they just kept hearing this pace keeping up with them. Right as they were going to turn onto their road, which is ironically enough off of Doty Creek Road, this large Dogman came out of the woods and stood straight up. It had these ember-colored eyes, not amber, but embered-colored, this orange and red. Sorry about that. This orange and red color. It stood up in the middle of the road, kind of blocking their path. Thankfully enough, seconds go by, not even seconds, and a car is coming behind the creature. It silhouettes the creature to these young kids, and it hears or sees the light behind it, turns and looks at the car, drops down and runs into the woods. The car stops, tells the kids, put your bikes in the trunk. I'm bringing you to your home. They're only they can practically see their house, but out of the fear that they were going through, and this person knowing exactly what that was, because he was older, he was probably in his 50s, put the bikes in the car and brought them home. Ended up telling their parents, what they saw. And he and his brother were not allowed to ride their bikes to their friend's house anymore. If they went to a friend's house, either his mom or dad brought him, or the kids or friends' parents would pick them up. But until he was about 18 years old, him and his brother were not allowed, because I guess these creatures are known in that area. Just like Tazwell, Virginia, these creatures are known in that if you are a resident of Tazwell, and I didn't realize how many people that I had subscribed to the channel that are from Tazwell, I probably 10, close to it, all have told me about some kind of crazy experience they had in Tazwell. And it all started out with one gentleman who reached out talking about a fox-like Dogman. It looked very similar to a fox in its shape of its head, its color, obviously not as small. Then DJ reached out, and then a couple of other people. And a subscriber that listens to the live stream quite often talks about the caves that I talked about when Tazwell was a hot spot a couple of years ago. And now the state government, where those bodies were found, are now turning it into they're erecting solar panels there. which then keeps people out of that area. It keeps people out of this area where these crawlers, dogmen, and other such are. It's pretty crazy. It's real crazy, the connections. And I was just sitting here today thinking about how crazy it is. And I'm not saying Victor is responsible. I'm just saying it's weird that Victor reached out when he did. And then all of a sudden, boom, all of these attacks came to public eye. And he was the one that actually said, look into Eric Smith, a minor, young man, minor, went missing. And during that period of time, after he told me that, there was at least 3 different people that went missing. One guy walked out into his backyard. He had some trails in his backyard. Never to be seen again. Just vanished. Very similar to Tom Mezek. Is he in a cave somewhere? Probably. Richard Timothy Honecker. Just there's multiple of them. Anyway, I wanted to share all that with you guys. I think there's a connection. I'm not saying I'm not blaming Victor. I'm just saying it's weird that he came to the channel at that time. Was there a reason? Did he know of something to share with us? I think so. I really do. Let's get into the encounter that I want to share with you all in that region. And I'd like you guys to check out after that some very interesting. A subscriber had me take a double look at a video that I'm responsible for. And I want you guys to as well. Speaking of Tazwell, while I reached into the Virginia folder, I have all my subscribers' experiences broken down into states. When I reached into it, underneath this, above and underneath this encounter was 2 Tazwell experiences from 2 different subscribers. So, hello, Jeff. I really enjoy your show. None of my experiences were as traumatizing as most of your experience seemed to be, but I've definitely had 2, and a handful of others seemingly related. I grew up in the mountains of Virginia. I spent so much of my life outdoors. I used to say I've slept more in the forest than in my home. Now that I'm older, that isn't as true as it was 20 years ago. Back in the 80s and the 90s, you could sleep on the ground in the woods with no worries. I used to camp with only a hammock and a tarp to keep the rain off. Sometimes I would just sleep in a sleeping bag on the ground with no tarp at all. However, that has changed since the turn of the millennium. There are predators in the forests that seemed not to be there when I was a kid. My first encounter. Back in 1998, I had purchased 400 acres of land in a remote part of Virginia. I intended to divide it into subdivisions, which I eventually did. When I first purchased the land, there was an old farmhouse, probably built in 1910 or so, that I intended on fixing up, but the windows were busted out, so I used an old mill on the property as my sleeping quarters while I fixed up the house. This mill was made of oak boards. I secured it with a chain and padlock on the door. This mill was so sturdy that the roof was a solid layer of oak board with the metal on top of it. At the south end, there was a cheap addition where the roof was just sheet metal nailed onto some rafters spaced about 2 feet apart. The building was about 15 feet high at the peak. There was an old maple tree growing next to it with a long branch that went over about half of the roof. I used to cook chicken for dinner and toss the bones under the mill for the cats. Something, I don't know what, would come after dark and steal the bones from the cats. I could hear it growl, and then I could hear it crunching up the bones in its mouth. I did find a track of a large feline or canine in the mud behind the barn, but I never could confirm what this creature was. Back then, I had a Browning high-powered 9mm pistol in addition to a couple of other weapons. One night, at around 2 in the morning, I was awakened by a sound of heavy footsteps on the roof above me. I didn't know about Dogman or Sasquatch, so I figured it was a mountain lion. Today, I know that it was unlikely that a cougar would behave in this way. At the time, I felt certain that it wanted to kill me. I don't know how I knew it. I just did. I was wearing nothing but boxer shorts, and hearing the steps on the roof above me made me break out in a cold sweat. I got up as silently as possible, grabbed my pistol, but I was still barefoot in boxers. I was being stalked, but I was stalking the stalker quietly underneath it as it walked on my roof. I heard the thing walking southward, so I walked underneath it, barefoot and silent, until it went on top of the extension, the section with only a thin layer of metal and no boards. I heard it jump down to the ground, and then after a few seconds, it jumped back up onto the roof peak, which was 15 feet high. At that point, I concluded that it must be a lion or something to be able to jump that high. I felt very strong that whatever it was wanted to eat me. I was standing directly underneath it. I waited to hear the footsteps, and when I did, I unloaded 10 out of the 12 rounds in my magazine straight through the thin metal roof above me. I think I scored a direct hit, if not 5 or 6. Whatever it was fell off the roof with a loud crash. Then I heard a sound like fingernails on a chalkboard as it was sliding down. Eek! There was a thump as it hit the ground just outside of the door. I was tempted to open and finish it off, but I thought better of it. Let's wait until daylight. In the morning, there was nothing there. That was the first encounter. Today, I do not believe that it was a lion, but I never saw the beast, so I don't know for certain what it was. In the years since then, I have lived in a few different places with lots of forest nearby. While walking around in the woods, I have twice seen a large tree spontaneously fall over near me on the windless day. One of them was a pine tree that was at least 24 inches thick at the base, with no rot. I suspect that was a Sasquatch warning me away. I moved to a different part of the mountains of Virginia, and I was renting a house on 500 acres of land that was separated from the road by a river on one side and a mountain on the back side. To get to the house, I'd either have to drive 100 yards through the river or walk over a swinging bridge. I loved it. My neighbors there kept seeing what they thought was a black panther. They would pronounce it panter. One time, I was hauling a load of firewood I had cut on the property to help a family that needed it. I crossed the river and pulled it up the road. As I got to the place on the road opposite of the house, there was a woman standing on the side of the road looking at my house with binoculars. I thought for sure she was the feds. I pulled over and walked up to her and asked her what she was doing. She said that she saw what she thought was a bear walking across the field, but then it jumped over the fence and went into the back of where my house is, which was my field. She concluded it was a panther instead of a bear. I've heard tree knocks out in my yard at night, and once there was something vocalizing on the ridgeline opposite of my house. I tried intimidating it and calling back. It kept vocalizing for another 20 minutes. Once my friend and I went on a canoeing camping trip on the same river. We found a cave high up on this cliff face overlooking the river. We checked it out and found old cave carvings inside of it, including one that was in Greek. We ended up camping in the woods just opposite the river from that cave. I slept in a hammock. Unfortunately, I snore when I sleep, and pretty loud. My friend was kept awake by it. He said that at some point in the night, something that he assumed was a bear came near to me and was growling at me as I snored. I never woke up. Yeah, my snoring is annoying. Even the Dogman complains, I guess. 22 years after my first encounter, I lived in a house in the forest in Middle Tennessee, not far from the LBL. Periodically, I would hear loud thumps on my roof at night. It reminded me of the night at the mill back in the old days. I'd even put a trail cam up on there, on the chimney once, but I did not find any evidence. One night, the thumps on the roof woke me at 3 a.m., so I went out onto the front porch to listen. The porch is covered by the roof, so it wasn't like being entirely outside. I heard it moving twice, but I could not see it. The second time I heard it move toward me, it started sniffing me out loudly like a dog. About that time, a weird effect came over me. It was like there was a static in my brain, kind of like an old TV tuned to a non-station. I wasn't scared, but I decided that it would be prudent time to go inside. So I did. I can't prove the Dogman or Sasquatch exists, but there is something out there, and it enjoys messing with people at night. That I do know. Ken. Okay, about 6 months ago, I shared an experience that was shared with me in Kentucky, in Black Mountain, and there's a radio tower out there. And this guy had been out there. He had gotten chased out of the area by a dogman. And there's a old radio tower and a new one. And there's the older one, I believe, looks like an old golf ball. And just crazy enough, this subscriber, who is from Tazwell, has experience out in that area. So it all, like I said, that 5-state hotspot. And I'm not saying there isn't other hotspots or areas of major activity. But for some reason, that area that I just showed you a little while ago is, for me, I hate the word hotspot, but I can't call it anything but. Jeff, as far as the area, as I said in my original comment, many seem to know or believe, even if they haven't seen anything themselves. People have been talking amongst themselves, more lately, where we've had disappearances. We had a man who disappeared in Duffield, about 20 minutes from us, and everything going on up in Tazwell and the stuff you've been thankfully covering. As I said, our principal at our local school spoke out, and it seemed everyone just nervously laughed it off like he was crazy. Seems to ignore it and it will go away. He said he and his wife were hiking up by Flag Rock, and he created a peak. As soon as he got eye level with the ground, he saw a huge upright something he initially thought was a wood booger, which is what many in our area call Sasquatch. He said it turned around and it had the head of a wolf with a mane. He said it didn't act aggressive, that it just turned and saw him and walked off. You could tell the experience terrified him. He's a very respected man in our area, and people seem to just go about their business like nothing ever happened. We get stereotyped often, but as far as the America-loving pro-2A stereotypes, we do fit those. Also, everyone carries, especially when out in the woods, but people getting picked off seem to be a small minority who do not. They keep classifying those poor souls as meth heads or portraying them as riffraff, and it's a shame, instead of trying to actually get to the bottom of what's going on, which you are speaking about lately. Anyone who does speak up gets ignored. Others do not know how to report what they've seen, and the rest are afraid of losing social points or some craziness. As far as what I witnessed, I was on Black Mountain. It's a mountain connecting the town of Appalachia, the actual Appalachia. People refer to our entire area as Appalachia, but the real deal Appalachia, Kentucky, there's a government facility up there we've always called the golf ball. It's supposedly used for a radar and such. There are signs posted, intruders will be shot. So who knows what they will do, but I was coming across Black, and I seen what I thought was a huge bear. I'm talking monster, and it was standing at the guardrail on all fours. As I approached, I brought the car to a stop just to look at this monster bear. As I coasted to a stop, this damn thing stood up. It stood up on its hind legs, Jeff. When it did, I could tell that it was not a bear. It stepped one leg over that guardrail and then another. It was at this point fear had entered the equation. I was just amazed, only could think, F that thing. That's when it turned to me, and it had the head of a wolf, with a wolf-like mane. I considered grabbing my 9mm, but I just hit the gas. I figured the 9mm would just piss that monster off. I raced back down Black, praying. Didn't get a flat or anything in my car, and have to get out of my car. It was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. I'm a hard-nosed hillbilly that's seen a lot in my time, and ain't much scares me, but this thing was unholy, Jeff. Its eyes look so intelligent, though. That thing didn't have the eyes of an animal. First thing that came to my mind was werewolf. I made it home and sat and cried, which I cannot say much. I talked about others not speaking up, and I've only shared the experience with friends and family, well, now you. I looked up information I could find, and the thing I saw wasn't as muscular as pics you see online. It wasn't a blob of fat either. It was built more like a bear, not exactly a bear. I haven't seen a picture that looks like this beast that I saw that night. The word that best describes it is terrifying. I fit into a category of thought. Maybe they exist, but didn't worry too much about it. But now I know that they are out there and nobody is doing a damn thing about it. We are stuck just having to defend ourselves and mourn the missing. I'm thankful you've been covering what's going on out here, and I've become a huge fan since. Sorry my writing's horrid, which it's not. I'm an old country bumpkin and don't do well in English class. If you use this, don't mention my name. I'm praying for help, but I'm trying to avoid the attention from certain locals, and I'd rather not have black suits showing up. Thanks, Jeff. You're doing a great job. So, from where he lives to where that Black Mountain is falls within that hotspot zone. I don't know. I there's something, and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna map something out because I think it needs to get done. And I'm gonna include all of the attacks that I've covered in that area, all the missing people from Tazwell, Buchanan, the incidents in Smith County, incidents that DJ's had, that everyone that's had in that area, I am going to map out. And it's going to take me a while, but I'm going to do it because it needs to be done. And then I'll move from hotspot to hotspot, Taylor, Mississippi, But that Appalachia, like he said, we all call it the Appalachia region, but there is a real Appalachia. But to me, that area, for some reason, these things are drawn to it. And, I said that these creatures are attracted to pain, whether it be addiction, whether it be mental illness. But since the coal mines dried up and people lost their jobs and their way of life, addiction is rampant in that region. Maybe that's why they're there so much more, because they're drawn to that negative. Or that negative has just been there this whole time. One or the other, or both. All right, so the next part of the upload is video evidence that I've captured at where Tom Mezek disappeared. There's a point in this video that, to me, the whole thing is undeniable evidence. I've seen Scott Carpenter's evidence, which is amazing. I really Kirk Stokes, Paul Chafin, in my eyes, I think mine is right up there with them because I catch so much different stuff. But there's a point in the video where, and I didn't notice it, I'm sitting on the rocks and I'm narrating an encounter about a Marine. And the woods just erupt. Well, as I'm grabbing my bag and my camera, I take off running. And behind me, briefly, you can see something running away from me or in the same direction it was going. There's definitely something where Tom Messick disappeared. The FBI was there, I truly now believe, just to make sure the lid was kept on and everybody was kept quiet. There's some BS channels out there that are huge that are saying because prisoner escaped and stuff like that. That's not true. There was never a prison break during 2015. And you can look it up. Like, it's common knowledge in the Adirondacks. When prisoners escape, we are made aware. There's something up there, and I think Dogman, I think Bigfoot are there. I honestly think there's crawlers up there. But I think the military, back in the day, did something bad up there. And there's a portal somewhere in that area. If not many, if not multiple of them. But whatever that was, whatever ran behind me, you see it for a brief second, and then it's gone. All right, so we're coming up to it. 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 All right, guys, we're back in Horicon, New York, where Tom Messick disappeared. One of my favorite places, actually, to be. Even though I had a scare just the last time I was here. But there seems to be some noise today, and I'm gonna be going up this trail just to kind of spend some time here, see if we can catch anything. Hopefully we don't, but I'll spin the camera around so you guys can see whereabouts I'm at, and just talk a little bit, and then we'll get to a spot, and I got some encounters to share with you guys. Hang on one second. All right, so the camera is spun around, and that is what is in front of me. That is what is aside of me. It's funny, last time I was here, I read in the comment section, a guy's like, there's a bunch of trees that are cut down. There are no trees that are cut down. This is broken limbs, broken trees. But you can't make everyone happy, right? I guess that's the thing. That's pretty cool. But I am glad that there is some noise today. Most definitely. So find a location and kind of like I'm flat. That's the incline. And it is beautiful out. It's not humid. Absolutely gorgeous today. There's the trail that I came down through. Absolutely gorgeous here. So last time I was here, I caught something running across the trails. I don't know what that was. It scared me pretty badly. Whew. Getting winded here. Absolutely gorgeous. Just a beautiful location. It did kind of silence out though, a little bit. But, oh well. Let's set up and, like, that's the mountain right here. I'm on the mountain. Alright. I just want to kind of give a look-see. I don't see anything around me. But we'll set up and narrate a couple encounters and just take a walk. How's that sound, guys? Alright guys, today's first subscriber submitted experience is from a former or Marine. I guess once you're a Marine, you're never not a Marine. Which is I've always thought that was really cool, you know, because you have then dedicated your life to that division of service, you know. Really cool. So anyway, Jeff, I'm 53 years old. When I was 18, I joined the Marine Reserve straight out of high school. Combat engineer and bulk fuel specialist. Deployed in the first Gulf War, and now a disabled veteran. My dad was a two-tour Vietnam vet with the 101st Airborne Rangers, 20-year veteran. I grew up fishing very young. My dad and I used to go hard to get to the fishing spots. I was about 7 years old. In Yakima, Washington, my dad was stationed there for a few years. We'd gone fishing at our favorite spot. My dad had gone around the lake and I stayed near the car. Holy fuck, guys, we're out of here. We're out of here. What the fuck was that? Wow, I'm back at my car. There's nobody here. Dude, that was beyond, like, I'm shaking. It just took me at least 10 minutes to run down that mountain. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you where everything went by. So There's nobody at this parking spot. Nobody. That's my car. Whatever knocked that tree down was up in here somewhere. I don't care if anyone calls me a coward, man. I saw something. I don't know what that was, but you guys saw me. I was narrating that. I'm not going back up there today. I'm going home. My chest hurts. That was unbelievable. I don't think I've ever been that scared. That was more scary than what occurred the other day when I caught whatever ran across the trail. I don't know if you guys can see right there. There's that orange tag on that one tree. Those are tags that they use to grid this area off to search for Tom Mezek. Holy cow. I've only been here for 20 minutes. All right, I'm sorry guys. I can't stay here today. I am just way beyond freaked out. And now, it was silent for a few minutes though, if you think about it, while I was narrating. And now once that happened, now you hear a bird. But I'm also about 1/8 of a mile away. All right, guys. We are in upstate New York in the Adirondacks. Snow is on the ground. In today's video, I said I would be doing the shofar from where Tom Mezek disappeared. And that's where we are. Never been here this late in the year. I'll spin the camera around so you guys can check it out. It's pretty cold. It's 31, I think. And just real quiet. So I'll turn the camera around so you guys can see everything. All right, so as you can see, we had a snowfall on was it Tuesday? We got 6 inches of snow, but then it was 40 Wednesday and Thursday. What the hell's that noise? You guys hear that? It's coming from that way. Hang on. There's a noise coming from that way. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's this weird, honestly, metallic sound. I don't know what it is. Not a clue. Kind of want to stay here for a second and see if we can hear it again. Did you hear it? What the hell is that? I hope my mic can pick that up. Dude, it's dead quiet here. Something's up here with me. I can tell, and I'm not making shit up. It's coming from that way. I don't know if we can hear it. Hear it? What the hell is that? I'm gonna go up a little and see. Whoa. Yeah, it's slick. There's some kind of noise over here on this side of me. I'm pretty sketched out because of that. I've never heard anything like that. There it is again. What the hell? I hope my mic is picking this up. Here's where, right here's our rocks where we were sitting. This is the location that I set that trail cam up. You hear it? It almost sounds like that's not a tree moving in the wind. That's like a metallic. I almost don't want to blow the shofar here. But you know what? I said I would do it. And I do what I say I'm going to do. So, well, there it is. And it's got like this faint. Alright, I'm going to get the shofar out. Blow it. We'll hang out for a few minutes and then I'm out of here. I do not like being here right now. It is cold. Cannot believe I said I was doing this today. There it is. There's that noise again. Yeah, so this is a shofar. That right there was a tree. Whatever is over there, I don't know what the hell is. I really hope nothing comes and just attacks me. Alright, here we go. Dude, the wind stopped. Literally, the wind stopped. No wind. How weird is that? Dude, that is crazy. It's actually 28 degrees now. Whew. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Just dead silence. Wish it was warmer today. Kind of do a pan around. Behind me is, there it is, that noise again. I really hope my mic picks that up. I'm about 20 minutes from my car. I don't know. I think it's just time to leave. I wanted to... Dude, it went dead quiet. There's that noise again. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That's not a tree. We know what trees sound like. Trees don't sound like a metallic sound. I'm gonna get the out of here right now. I'll talk to you guys later. Look at that. That's interesting. That's, my hand is extended. I'm 6 foot. My arm would put me at 7 foot. That thing is 8 foot and bent. That's where I want to go, up in here. The woodpecker in there. Hear him? So this is where I was. I'm walking just like I am now. I stop and I look and I'm like, let's go this way. And I do. And I mean, this is not, there's no trail here. Why did I get pushed this way? Woodpecker's still right up in there. All right, let's do this, guys. As long as I can hear that woodpecker, I feel like I'm safe. But there's no trail. I don't think the rattler snakes will be out this time of year either. This wall freaks me out too. There he is. Oh, look how big he is. Hang on. See him? There's that woodpecker. He's a big guy. Wow. Huh. That's so cool. Get to a different vantage point. Okay, I hiked a little bit more through the woods, but these are the 3 rocks that I found one day. And to be honest, there is a side-by-side out on the trails down that way. A ranger, maybe. I don't know. Hear that woodpecker though? He's going top notch. See if I can find him again. Can hear him. Just can't see him. Time is it? 2:15. All right, so this is what I wanted to do. I've checked this area with a magnet before. I want to use the dowsing rods here. Okay, so we got an airplane overhead and our little woodpecker friend. All right. Is there any kind of entity here at all? Anything? Cross these things. Cross the rods. Wow. I thought for sure they'd work up here. Holy shit. Are you an old spirit? Open these up if you are Tom Mezek. Open them up if you're a Native American that lived in the Adirondacks. Alright, I don't know if I want to do that up here. I know this has a weird feeling up here. I'm a little nervous about being here right now. So and I know our little buddy over here is pecking away, but I'd rather be on the trail than up here during the eclipse. So I think what we'll do is we'll head out and head down and head back up on the trails. How's that sound? Whew. Behind you guys, right where the camera is set up, there's a just a rock outcropping. I think I found a pretty good spot to set up while the eclipse happens. I had to check on my daughter in a minute. Call her and see if she's okay. Here we go. What the fuck was that? Guys, I don't know what that was. Did you hear it? Something responded. Those are all woods back there. It's all woods. Deep back there. Something fucking responded. It's calling. What the fuck is it? I'm gonna blow it again. It sounds like it's getting closer or further away, maybe, I don't know. Hang on. Let's see. A plane overhead. I don't know, whatever it was, it communicated with us twice. It actually where it sounded like it was coming from was it's getting further away. I just heard it. It's going further into the mountains. What the fuck was that? All right, guys. That's today's upload. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Tomorrow is Saturday already. And I had COVID last week. Real bad. So the live stream wasn't great. So I'm going to make it up to you guys. Also, I will be interviewing our friend Brad tonight. So that interview will be up tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Guys, thank you for supporting the channel. It is your support that keeps the channel growing and going. And when I say that, people laugh, but it's actually a YouTube kind of statement, because our channels grow and they go, you know. But I use it because my channel will grow and I will go to different places to look for evidence. You know, it's, to me, it's not funny. To me, it's reality. I think anybody who is a real researcher and has a YouTube channel, their channel will grow and go. So, and you guys are the reason for it. So thank you. Guys, you also are the reason why people like myself and like others who have been on the channel, like Brad, have a chance to share their experiences and a place and not get treated with disrespect or ridicule, just simply treated with the respect we all deserve. Please, everyone, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there, and they are dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about. It may just help save their lives someday. And until next time, never stop asking questions. Never stop searching for the truth. And God bless.